So Frank, excited to get the season underway?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And I think the Charity Shield's a great concept as well. You know, obviously we're supporting a really worthy cause, but also for the football side of things, it helps us to sort of, you know, realise that what we did last year is getting recognised again this year. So it's a great way to start off the season.
And what have preparations been like? I mean, are you fielding a side that's similar to last season?
Oh, we've gone through a fair bit of change. You know, we've lost 4 or 5 significant players, but I think we're in a very good position where we replace them quite well. And on reflection, you probably look back at the squad that we've got at the moment and probably think it's probably one of the best balanced squads we've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
And how do you feel going up against Tuggeranong then?
Oh, it's always good. I think Tuggeranong, you know, they're a very proud club. You know, the boys always are up for a game against Olympic, and so yeah, we're very cautious around how they'll approach it, and we know we'll be in for a big game.
And looking forward to seeing people with generosity coming for the charity match.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's one of the best things about this Charity Shield and kicking off the season that way is that, you know, there is that charity element to it, where, you know, a really worthy cause gets recognised and we can support it.
Frank, do you see this as almost like the unofficial start to the season?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess so. I think this is the kickstart to the season, and you know, for us, even though we've played a fair few pre-season games and a number of those in the state, like this is what we sort of classify as our first meaningful game.
As you mentioned, you've had a few changes. Still got a fair few players still there though, such as etc. So I mean, you've got the nucleus of your squad that's been so successful.
Yeah, I think we're quite fortunate that we've kept the core of our squad there. You know, a number of boys now have been there since I sort of started. So a lot of them are entering their 4th or 5th year at the club, which is, you know, just adds to a lot of stability and also really helps to maintain the culture that we've developed there at Olympic. So yeah, I think that's one of our real big strong points.
And playing a side like Tuggeranong, who've been there and abouts a little bit, you know, especially after their success in the FFA Cup a couple of years ago. How do you see this game on Friday night against them? Is it going to be a true test for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for Tuggeranong and for Olympic, I think both clubs will be approaching this as, you know, there's a trophy on the line and both of them want to win it. So I think it'll be the 13 can hit out.
Who are the key players that you've got in your squad this year that weren't there last year?
We've got some new boys there that weren't there last year. Rocco Stricker is probably the standout right at the moment. He played NYL for Canberra United, but he's been training with us since July last year. I think he will be a really impressive addition to the league. I think you'll see one of the real quality players in the competition sort of stand up with him involved. Some of the other new boys we've got, like we've just recently acquired Dom Giampaolo from Canberra FC. Everyone in the competition knows his quality, so I think he'd be significant. And you know, we've got a couple of ex-Tuggeranong boys in Nick Popovich and Nick Forst who have come across, and they're really making a big impact within our squad straight away.
It's interesting, doesn't it? Coming up against their former club for the first time then?
Yeah, it will. I mean, Nick's probably struggling a little bit. Nick Forst is probably struggling a little bit with an injury, but Nick Popovich has really hit the ground running, sort of taking on Stephen Dominici's role from last year up front for us, and he's been on the scoreboard a couple of times now already in our pre-season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he develops over the season.
Yeah, just on Stephen Dominici, I mean, he was key, wasn't he, for your team?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I mean, no one stood in his way when he got an offer from Interstate, and he's actually still training with our club. So, you know, he trains with us, he plays in Wollongong, so he's still sort of part of it. But at the same time, we understand that, you know, when you know, there's a better offer to play and sort of make some financial gains, then, you know, we're not going to stand in his way. Absolutely. So, you know, yeah, he is a key point, but. And that was always a hard thing for us to sort of look at replacing, but I think we've done it in a more systemic way. We've rather than sort of brought in a talisman, we've looked at sort of spreading out the load goal scoring wise, and that's been evident in our pre-season game. I think pre-season games, I think we've scored 13 odd goals in 3 games with 8 different goal scorers, so really pleased with that.
Frank was saying that, you know, it's an unofficial start to the pre-season, it's for charity, but you are playing for silverware. It's a game you'll be taking seriously?
Absolutely. This close to the start of the regular season, it's so important, and for us as a club to be facing Olympic at this time is perfect. It really is. They're the benchmark in the region, have been for a number of years now. So it's lovely to put, yes, a charitable event together with a bit of silverware against the best side. So for us, it's ideal in terms of timing.
And how's your side looking? Any changes from last season?
Yeah, significant changes. This is my first year at the club, so I've had to put a little stamp on things in terms of new players, and also trying to make the necessary changes to the club as a whole, not just the first team. We've got a lot of good people at the football club, but there's definitely been times in the past where they've pulled in different directions. So as a club overall, we're sort of trying to tie it all together, and getting those processes right leads to an effective operation for the first team. We've got a lot of work to do, but yeah, we're excited. I think we're on the right path.
Frank was just mentioning, obviously a couple of your former players from last year now playing with Olympic. I mean, it makes things a little bit interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes and no. I didn't coach them. They're not a part of me. We've got new guys, so it is a new face for our team anyway. And you know, they're good boys, those guys anyway. Good players. There's certainly no ill feeling anyway. And we, if anything, know more about them than the average player. So it's not a big deal for us.
When you say that you've come in and you've sort of put your own stamp on things, what do you mean by that? Is it going to be a different style than we've seen from Tuggeranong?
I believe so. Other people may have. Football's a game of opinions, but we started before a ball was kicked, which was changing the culture of the football club, the expectations, how we approach things on and off the pitch, how we support juniors. And you know, we look around, there's some great examples. Again, the club we're facing on Friday night, in terms of you get processes right and everything else can come together. Don't do it the other way around. So yeah, we've worked very, very hard, like I said, on and off the pitch.
Do you feel as though it's been a bit of a roller coaster for Tuggeranong over the years? You know, you've had some highs, but you've also had some lows. You're looking for a bit of stability by the sound of it.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I never, as a former player, I never played for Tuggeranong, but I know what it used to be like. You know, Tuggeranong of the yesteryear, which was always a battle. There was a real culture of guys looking after one another, and we want to touch with that again, regain that, but also move forward in a direction that says we can be successful doing it that way. Tuggeranong's, but it's been a long time, apart from a few very good cup runs. It's been a long time since success in the league, and that has to change.
And what about Olympic? Do you see them as being a different prospect this year? I mean, Stephen Dominici was probably the standout player for a number of years in Canberra, not there. Do you see it a little bit different now?
Yes and no, and I'm sure Frank will say the same. There's a core group there. There's also Frank there, so you know what this Olympic team's about, irrespective of personnel. As long as the leader's there and as long as some of those core players are there, you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be a high standard of football. It's going to be an organised team, and they're not going to give you an inch, which is why it's, like I said, it's ideal for us to test ourselves now and prepare ourselves for the line.
For you guys as well, I guess, for you coming in, does it give you an opportunity because Olympic has been that powerhouse for a number of years as well? Does it give you an opportunity for you personally to see where you're at coming into the side?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Like I said, we've tried hard to correct a few things off the pitch, but also change a style of play on it. So it's a good test to say, hey, have we got it right? We're missing a few guys, so again, now we get to test our squad depth too against the best side. So if we come out of this game with something, then we say, all right, everything's going well, and irrespective, it's a glass half full stuff, which is we learn from whatever happens in this. So I'll be happy no matter what. And
Olympic are probably one of the few teams, if not the only one, that's kind of been immune to the such big player movement as well. Do you think after this first game it'll almost allow for that dust to settle a little bit so that everyone can kind of have a gauge to see where everyone is against those guys as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, no club's immune, as we've seen with Stephen Dominici leaving, and Gillespie's gone from there too. There's been an awful lot of firepower go. Admittedly, some fantastic replacements have come in, but the dust won't settle just yet. I'm sure there's still some moves in the market. You hear the rumours what's going on, so not yet. We're certainly starting to see a core group of players at clubs, and you can start forecasting what's going to be happening, but yeah, it will be interesting.